I Am That. Talks with Sri Nisargadatta Maharaj. Chapter 99. The perceived cannot be the perceiver. You know so many things about yourself, but the knower you do not know. Find out who you are, the knower of the known. Look within diligently. Remember to remember that the perceived cannot be the perceiver. Whatever you see, hear, or think of, remember, you are not what happens. You are he to whom it happens. Questioner. I have been moving from place to place investigating the various yogas available for practice, and I could not decide which will suit me best. I should be thankful for some competent advice. At present, as a result of all this searching, I am just tired of the idea of finding truth. It seems to me to be both unnecessary and troublesome. Life is enjoyable as it is, and I see no purpose in improving on it. Maharaj. You are welcome to stay in your contentment, but can you? Youth, vigor, money, all will pass away sooner than you expect. Sorrow shunned so far will pursue you. If you want to be beyond suffering, you must meet it halfway and embrace it. Relinquish your habits and addictions. Live a simple and sober life. Don't hurt a living being. This is the foundation of yoga. To find reality, you must be real in the smallest daily action. There can be no deceit in the search for truth. You say you find your life enjoyable. Maybe it is at present. But who enjoys it? Questioner. I confess, I do not know the enjoyer, nor the enjoyed. I only know the enjoyment. Maharaj. Quite right. But enjoyment is a state of mind. It comes and goes. Its very impermanence makes it perceivable. You cannot be conscious of what does not change. All consciousness is consciousness of change. But the very perception of change, does it not necessitate a changeless background? Questioner. Not at all. The memory of the last state compared to the actuality of the present state gives the experience of change. Maharaj. Between the remembered and the actual, there is a basic difference which can be observed from moment to moment. At no point in time is the actual the remembered. Between the two, there is a difference in kind, not merely in intensity. The actual is unmistakably so. By no effort of will or imagination can you interchange the two. Now, what is it that gives its unique quality to the actual? Questioner. The actual is real, while there is a good deal of uncertainty about the remembered. Maharaj. Quite so, but why? But why? A moment back, the remembered was actual. In a moment, the actual will be the remembered. What makes the actual unique? Obviously, it is your sense of being present. In memory and anticipation, there is a clear feeling that it is a mental state under observation, while in the actual, the feeling is primarily of being present and aware. Questioner. Yes, I can see. It is awareness that makes the difference between the actual and the remembered. One thinks of the past or the future, but one is present in the now. Maharaj, wherever you go, you carry the sense of here and now with you all the time. It means that you are independent of space and time, that space and time are in you, not you in them. It is your self-identification with the body, which of course is limited in space and time, that gives you the feeling of finiteness. In reality, you are infinite and eternal. Questioner. This infinite and eternal self of mine, how am I to know it? Maharaj, the self you want to know, is it some second self? Are you made of several selves? Surely there is only one self, and you are that self. The self you are is the only self there is. Remove and abandon your wrong ideas about yourself, and there it is, in all its glory. It is only your mind that prevents self-knowledge. Questioner. How am I to be rid of the mind? And is life without the mind at all possible on the human level? Maharaj, there is no such thing as the mind. There are ideas, and some of them are wrong. Abandon the wrong ideas, for they are false, and obstruct your vision of yourself. Questioner. Which ideas are wrong and which are true? Maharaj, assertions are usually wrong, denials right. Questioner. One cannot live by denying everything. Maharaj, only by denying can one live. Assertion is bondage. To question and deny is necessary. It is the essence of revolt, and without revolt, there can be no freedom. There is no second or higher self to search for. You are the highest self. Just give up the false ideas you have about yourself. Both faith and reason tell you that you are neither the body nor its desires and fears, nor are you the mind with its fanciful ideas, nor the role society compels you to play, the person you are supposed to be. Give up the false, and the true will come into its own. You say you want to know yourself. You are yourself. You cannot be anything but what you are. Is knowing separate from being? Whatever you can know with your mind is of the mind, not you. About yourself, you can only say, I am aware, I like it. Questioner. I find being alive a painful state. Maharaj, you cannot be alive, for you are life itself. It is the person you imagine yourself to be that suffers, not you. Dissolve it in awareness. It is merely a bundle of memories and habits. From the awareness of the unreal to the awareness of your real nature, there is a chasm which you will easily cross once you have mastered the art of pure awareness. Question. All I know is that I do not know myself. Maharaj, how do you know that you do not know yourself? Your direct insight tells you that you know yourself first, for nothing exists for you without your being there to experience its existence. You imagine you do not know yourself because you cannot describe yourself. You can always say, I know, that I am, and you will refuse as untrue the statement I am not. But whatever can be described cannot be yourself, and what you are cannot be described. You can only know yourself by being yourself without any attempt at self-identification and self-description. Once you have understood that you are nothing perceivable or conceivable, that whatever appears in the field of consciousness cannot be yourself, you will apply yourself to the eradication of all self-identification as the only way that can take you to a deeper realization of yourself. You literally progress by rejection, a veritable racket to know that you are neither in the body nor in the mind, though aware of both is already self-knowledge. Questioner: if I am neither the body nor the mind, how am I aware of them? How can I perceive something quite foreign to myself? Maharaj: nothing is me is the first step. Everything is me is the next. Both hang on the idea there is a woe. When this too is given up, you remain what you are, the non-dual self. You are it, here and now, but your vision is obstructed by your false ideas about yourself. Questioner: well, I admit that I am, I was, I shall be, at least from birth to death. I have no doubts of my being here and now, but I find that it is not enough. My life lacks the joy born of harmony between the inner and the outer. If I alone am, and the world is merely a projection, then why is there disharmony? Maharaj: you create disharmony and then complain. When you desire and fear and identify yourself with your feelings, you create sorrow and bondage. When you create with love and wisdom and remain unattached to your creations, the result is harmony and peace. But whatever the condition of your mind, in what way does it reflect you? It is only self-identification with your mind that makes you happy or unhappy. Rebel against your enslavement by your mind. See your bonds as self-created and break the chains of attachment and revulsion. Keep in mind your goal of freedom until it dawns on you that you are already free. That freedom is not something in the distant future to be earned with painful effort, but perennially one's own, to be used. Liberation is not an acquisition, but a matter of courage. The courage to believe that you are already free to act on it. Questioner: if I do as I like, I shall have to suffer. Maharaj: nevertheless, you are free. The consequences of your actions will depend on the society in which you live and its conventions. Questioner: I may act recklessly. Maharaj: along with courage will emerge wisdom and compassion and skill in action. You will know what to do, and whatever you do will be good for all. Questioner: I find that the various aspects of myself are at war between themselves, and there is no peace in me. Where are freedom and courage, wisdom and compassion? My action merely increased the chasm in which I exist. Maharaj: it is all so because you take yourself to be somebody or something. Stop, look, investigate, ask the right questions, come to the right conclusions, and have the courage to act on them and see what happens. The first steps may bring the roof down on your head, but soon the commotion will clear and there will be peace and joy. You know so many things about yourself, but the knower you do not know. Find out who you are, the knower of the known. Look within diligently. Remember to remember that the perceived cannot be the perceiver. Whatever you see, hear, or think of, remember, you are not what happens. You are he to whom it happens. Dwell deeply into the sense I am, and you will surely discover that the perceiving center is universal as the light that illuminates the world. All that happens in the universe happens to you, the silent witness. On the other hand, whatever is done by you, the universal and inexhaustible energy. Questioner. It is, no doubt, very gratifying to hear that one is the silent witness as well as the universal energy. But how is one to cross over from a verbal statement to direct knowledge? Hearing is not knowing. Maharaj, before you can know anything directly, non-verbally, you must know the knower. So far you have taken the mind for the knower, but it is just not so. The mind clogs you up with images and ideas which leave scars in memory. You take remembering to be knowledge. True knowledge is ever fresh, new, unexpected. It wells up from within. When you know what you also are what you know. Between knowing and being, there is no gap. Questioner. I can only investigate the mind with the mind. Maharaj, by all means use your mind to know your mind. It is perfectly legitimate, and also the best preparation for going beyond the mind. Being, knowing, and enjoying are your own. First realize your own being. This is easy because the sense I am is always with you. Then meet yourself as the knower, apart from the known. Once you know yourself as pure being, the ecstasy of freedom is your own. Questioner. Which yoga is this? Maharaj. Why worry? What makes you come here is your being displeased with your life as you know it, the life of your body and mind. You may try to improve them through controlling and bending them to an ideal, or you may cut the knot of self-identification altogether and look at your body and mind as something that happens without committing you in any way. Questioner. Shall I call the way of control and discipline Raja Yoga, and the way of detachment Jnana Yoga, and the worship of an ideal Bhakti Yoga? Maharaj, if it pleases you, words indicate but do not explain. What I teach is the ancient and simple way of liberation through understanding. Understanding your own mind and its hold on you will snap. The mind misunderstands. Misunderstanding is its very nature. Right understanding is the only remedy. Whatever name you give it, it is the earliest and also the latest, for it deals with the mind as it is. Nothing you do will change you, for you need no change. You may change your mind or your body, but it is always something external to you that has changed, not yourself. Why bother? Why bother at all to change? Realize once and for all that neither your body nor your mind nor even your consciousness is yourself, and stand alone in your true nature, beyond consciousness and unconsciousness. No effort can take you there, only the clarity of understanding. Trace your misunderstandings and abandon them, that is all. There is nothing to seek and fine, for there is nothing lost. Relax and watch the I am. Reality is just behind it. Keep quiet, keep silent. It will emerge, or rather, it will take you in. Questioner. Must I not get rid of my body and mind first? Maharaj. You cannot, for the very idea binds you to them. Just understand and disregard. Questioner. I am unable to disregard, for I am not integrated. Maharaj. Imagine that you are completely integrated, your thought and action fully coordinated. How will it help you? It will not free you from mistaking yourself to be the body or the mind. See them correctly as not you. That is all. Questioner. You want me to remember to forget? Maharaj. Yes, it appears so. Yet it is not hopeless. You can do it. Just set about it in earnest. Your blind groping is full of promise. Your very searching is the finding. You cannot fail. Questioner. Because we are disintegrated, we suffer. Maharaj. We shall suffer as long as our thoughts and actions are prompted by desires and fears. See their futility, and the danger and chaos they create will subside. Don't try to reform yourself. Just see the futility of all change. The changeful keeps on changing while the changeless is waiting. Do not expect the changeful to take you to the changeless. It can never happen. Only when the very idea of changing is seen as false and abandoned can the changeless come into its own. Questioner. Everywhere I go, I'm told that I must change profoundly before I can see the real. This process of deliberate, self-imposed change is called yoga. Maharaj. All change affects the mind only. To be what you are, you must go beyond the mind, into your own being. It is immaterial what the mind that you leave behind is, provided you leave it behind for good. This again is not possible without realization. Questioner. What comes first? The abandoning of the mind or self-realization? Maharaj. Self-realization definitely comes first. The mind cannot go beyond itself by itself. It must explode. Questioner. No exploration before explosion? Maharaj. The explosive power comes from the real, but you are well advised to have your mind ready for it. Fear can always delay it until another opportunity arises. Questioner. I thought there was always a chance. Maharaj. In theory, yes. In practice, a situation must arise when all the factors necessary for realization are present. This need not discourage you. Your dwelling on the fact of I am will soon create another chance, for attitude attracts opportunity. All you know is second-hand. Only I am is first-hand and needs no proof. Stay with it. I am that. Talks with Sri Nisargadatta Maharaj. Chapter 100. Understanding leads to freedom. A life of constraint and suppression is not yoga. The mind must be free of desires and relaxed. It comes with understanding, not with determination, which is but another form of memory. An understanding mind is free of desires and fears. Questioner. In many countries of the world, investigating officers follow certain practices aimed at extracting confessions from their victim and also changing his personality if needed. By a judicious choice of physical and moral deprivations and by persuasions, the old personality is broken down and a new personality established in its place. The man under investigation hears repeated so many times that he is an enemy of the state and a traitor to his country, that a day comes when something in him breaks down and he begins to feel with full conviction that he is a traitor, a rebel, altogether despicable and deserving of direst punishment. This process is known as brainwashing. It struck me that the religious and yogic practices are very similar to brainwashing. There is the same physical and mental deprivation, solitary confinement, a powerful sense of sin, despair, and a desire to escape through expiation and conversion. Adoption of a new image of oneself and impersonating that image. There's also the same repetition of a set formula. God is good. The guru or party knows. Faith will save me. In the so-called yogic or religious practices, the same mechanism operates. The mind is made to concentrate on some particular idea to the exclusion of all other ideas, and concentration is powerfully reinforced by rigid discipline and painful austerities. A high price in life and happiness is paid, and what one gets in return appears therefore to be of great importance. This prearranged conversion, obvious or hidden, religious or political, ethical or social, may look genuine and lasting, yet there is a feeling of artificiality about it. Maharaj, you are quite right. By undergoing so many hardships, the mind gets dislocated and immobilized. Its condition becomes precarious. Whatever it undertakes results in a deeper bondage. Questioner. Then why are sadhanas prescribed? Maharaj. Unless you make tremendous efforts, you will not be convinced that effort will take you nowhere. The self is so self-confident that unless it is totally discouraged, it will not give up. Mere verbal conviction is not enough. Hard facts alone can show the absolute nothingness of the self-image. Questioner. The brainwasher drives me mad and the guru drives me sane. The driving is similar, yet the motive and the purpose are totally different. The similarities are perhaps merely verbal. Maharaj. Inviting or compelling to suffer contains violence, and the fruit of violence cannot be sweet. There are certain life situations that are inevitably painful, and you must take them in stride. There are also certain situations which you have created either deliberately or by neglect, and from these you must learn a lesson so that they are not repeated. Questioner. It seems that we must suffer so that we learn to overcome pain. Maharaj. Pain must be endured. There is no such thing as overcoming pain, or no training is needed. And no training is needed. Let me read that again. There is no such thing as overcoming pain, and no training is needed. Training for the future and developing attitudes is a sign of fear. Questioner. Once I know how to face pain, I am free of it, not afraid of it, and therefore happy. This is what happens to a prisoner. He accepts his punishment as just and proper and is at peace with the prison authorities and the state. All religions do nothing else but preach acceptance and surrender. We are being encouraged to plead guilty, to feel responsible for all the evils in the world and point at ourselves as their only cause. My problem is that I cannot see much difference between brainwashing and sadhana, except in that in the case of sadhana, one is not physically constrained. The element of compulsive suggestion is present in both. Maharaj, as you have said, the similarities are superficial. You need not harp on them. Questioner, sir, the similarities are not superficial. Man is a complex being and can be at the same time the accuser and the accused, the judge, the warden, and the executioner. There is not much that is voluntary in a voluntary sadhana. One is moved by forces beyond one's knowledge and control. I can change my mental metabolism as little as I can change the physical, except by painful and protracted efforts, which is yoga. All I am asking is, does Maharaj agree with that yoga implies violence? Maharaj, I agree that yoga as presented by you means violence, and I never advocate any form of violence. My path is totally non-violent. I mean exactly what I say, non-violent. Find out for yourself what it is. I merely say, it is non-violent. Questioner, I'm not misusing words. When a guru asks me to meditate for 16 hours a day for the rest of my life, I cannot do it without extreme violence to myself. Is such a guru right or wrong? Maharaj, no one compels you to meditate 16 hours a day unless you feel like doing so. It is only a way of telling you, remain with yourself, don't get lost among others. The teacher will wait, but the mind is impatient. It is not the teacher, it is the mind that is violent and also afraid of its own violence. What is of the mind is relative. It is a mistake to make it into an absolute. Questioner, if I remain passive, nothing will change. If I am active, I must be violent. What is it I can do with which is neither sterile or non-violent? Maharaj, of course there is a way which is neither violent nor sterile, and yet supremely effective. Just look at yourself as you are. See yourself as you are. Accept yourself as you are, and go deeper into what you are. Violence and non-violence describe your attitude of others. The self in relation to itself is neither violent nor non-violent. It is either aware or unaware of itself. If it knows itself, all it does will be right. If it does not, all it does will be wrong. Questioner, what do you mean by saying, I know myself as I am? Maharaj, before the mind, I am. I am is not a thought in the mind. The mind happens to me. I do not happen to the mind. And since time and space are in the mind, I am beyond time and space, eternal and omnipresent. Questioner, are you serious? Do you really mean that you exist everywhere and at all times? Maharaj, yes, I do. To me, it is as obvious as freedom of movement is to you. Imagine a tree asking a monkey, do you seriously mean that you can move from place to place? And the monkey saying, yes, I do. Questioner, are you also free from causality? Can you produce miracles? Maharaj, The world itself is a miracle. I am beyond miracles. I am absolutely normal. With me, everything happens as it must. I do not interfere with creation. Of what use are small miracles to me when the greatest of miracles is happening all the time? Whatever you see, it is always your own being that you see. Go ever deeper into yourself. Seek within. There is neither violence nor non-violence in self-discovery. The destruction of the false is not violence. Questioner. When I practice self-inquiry or go within with the idea that it will profit me in some way or other, I am still escaping from what I am. Maharaj. Quite right. True inquiry is always into something, not out of something. When I inquire how to get or avoid something, I am not really inquiring. To know anything, I must accept it totally. Questioner. Yes. To know God, I must accept God. How frightening. Maharaj. Before you can accept God, you must accept yourself, which is even more frightening. The first steps in self-acceptance are not at all pleasant, for what one sees is not a happy sight. One needs all the courage to go further. What helps is silence. Look at yourself in total silence. Do not describe yourself. Look at the being you believe you are and remember, you are not what you see. This I am not. What am I? Is the movement of self-inquiry. There are no other means to liberation. All else means delay. Resolutely reject what you are not until the real self emerges in its glorious nothingness. It's not a thingness. Questioner. The world is passing through rapid and critical changes. We can see them with great clarity in the United States, though they happen in other countries. There is an increase in crime on one hand and more genuine holiness on the other. Communities are being formed, and some of them are on a very high level of integrity and austerity. It looks as if evil is destroying itself by its own successes, like a fire which consumes its fuel, while the good, like life, perpetuates itself. Maharaj. As long as you divide events into good and evil, you may be right. In fact, good becomes evil and evil becomes good by their own fulfillment. Questioner. What about love? Maharaj. When it turns to lust, it becomes destructive. Questioner. What is lust? Maharaj. Remembering, imagining, anticipating. It is sensory and verbal, a form of addiction. Questioner. Is brahmacharya, continence, imperative in yoga? Maharaj. A life of constraint and suppression is not yoga. The mind must be free of desires and relaxed. It comes with understanding, not with determination, which is but another form of memory. An understanding mind is free of desires and fears. Questioner. How can I make myself understand? Maharaj. By meditating, which means giving attention. Become fully aware of your problem. Look at it from all sides. Watch how it affects your life, then leave it alone. You can't do any more than that. Questioner. Will it set me free? Maharaj. You are free from what you have understood. The outer expressions of freedom may take time to appear, but they are already there. Do not expect perfection. There is no perfection in manifestation. Details must clash. No problem is solved completely, but you can withdraw from it to a level on which it does not operate.